discuss the importance of breastfeeding generally and the important role you all can play with respect to breastfeeding, as well as about the International Board of Lactation Consultant Examiners, or also known as IBLC, which is a global certification board, conferring the International Code or Board Certified Lactation Consultant credential, and for which I have the honor of serving as the chair of the board of directors currently. Thank you so much, Adaze. Okay, very good. Perfect. So a little bit about me. I'm originally from India. I moved to the United States of America when I was 13. And I did my nursing school in Atlanta, Georgia, and I moved to New York after I got married. Just a little bit personally, I have two boys. They're 4 years and 7 years of age, and a husband. You know, all of this is possible because of my family support. So I'm very grateful to be here with you all. And I've been a nurse for the past 11 years. I started practicing in 2009. And I have, my experience goes from medical surgical nursing to, you know, I started my maternal child career in 2011. And I am very passionate about mothers, babies, whether that's prenatally, postpartum, or during labor. So that's pretty much about me. And I did my master's in family nurse practitioner, and I worked as a nurse practitioner in infectious diseases. And I also teach on the side. So I teach evidence-based practice. I teach maternal child health at George Washington University. I also recently started my doctorate in nursing practice and my MBA at Johns Hopkins University last 2 months ago, so June. So I just finished my summer semester. So I have a month off, and I will be just getting everything ready for the next semester. Okay. Just some disclosures. So this presentation does not include any IBCLC examination content and does not confer any advantage with respect to the IBCLC examination. So because I'm the chair of IBCLC, I just want to make sure that I'm putting that out there. So next slide, please. So happy World Breastfeeding Week. This is the Independent World Alliance for Breastfeeding Action, also known as WABA, coordinates a global World Breastfeeding Week, which is the campaign that aims to inform, anchor, engage, and galvanize action on breastfeeding and related issues. World Breastfeeding Week is celebrated every August 1 through 7 in commemoration of the 1990 Innocenti Declaration. So in August 1990, government policymakers, the World Health Organization, UNICEF, and other organizations signed the Innocenti Declaration, which aimed to protect, promote, and support breastfeeding. World Breastfeeding Week began in 1992, so a very long time ago, with annual themes including healthcare systems, women and work, previously adopted International Code of Marketing of Breast Milk Substitutes, which includes community support, ecology, economy, and science, education, and human rights. So let's take a moment to talk about the International Code of Marketing of Breast Milk Substitutes. So on May 21st, 1981, the 34th session of the World Health Assembly, also known as WHA, was adopted, and they adopted the International Code of Marketing of Breast Milk Substitutes. The World Health Organization's Code of Marketing of Breast Milk Substitutes, a key document in support of breastfeeding and subsequent World Health Assembly resolutions are global agreements. So these are all global agreements which aim to contribute to the provision of safe and adequate nutrition for infants by the protection and promotion of breastfeeding and by ensuring the proper use of breast milk substitutes when they are necessary on the basis of adequate information and through appropriate marketing and distribution. So throughout this discussion, you'll hear proper marketing and distribution because we want to protect our babies and moms. So what does the code do? Code simply advocates that babies be breastfed and that they be fed safely. So what does the code again aim? The code also aims to stop the aggressive and inappropriate marketing of breast milk substitutes, feeding bottles, and teats. Countries can adopt provisions of the WHO code into their own legislative schemes. Unfortunately, there are many countries who have not adopted, for example, the United States, Canada, and Australia. Others have adopted many provisions of the WHO code, and others have adopted to choose just a few. So an entire course could be devoted to the WHO code and substitute WHA resolutions. Like we can talk about it all day. And there's a great deal I would like to cover today. So for much more detailed information, I refer you directly to the World Health Organization's website. So if you have any questions and you want to educate yourself more about the WHO code, please visit the World Health Organization. So why breastfeeding? Why are we here, right? So let's turn to the why. Breast milk is the ideal food for infants. It is safe, it is clean, and as you know, contains many antibodies which help protect against many common childhood illnesses. Breast milk provides all the energy and nutrients that the infant needs for the first month of their life, and it continues to provide up to half or more of a child's nutritional needs during the second half of their first year, and up to 1/3 during the second year of life. Breastfed children perform better on intelligence tests and are less likely to be overweight or obese and less prone to diabetes later in life. Women who breastfeed also have a reduced risk of some breast and ovarian cancers. Yet, inappropriate marketing of breast milk substitutes continues to undermine efforts to improve breastfeeding rates and duration worldwide. Breastfeeding saves lives. Research shows that if 90% of families breastfeed exclusively for 6 months, nearly 1,000 deaths among infants could be prevented each year. Breastfeeding saves money. Medical costs may be lower for fully breastfed infants than never breastfed infants. Breastfed infants usually need fewer sick care visits, prescriptions, and hospitalizations. Breastfeeding also helps make a more productive workforce. Mothers who breastfeed may miss less work to care for their sick infants than mothers who feed their infants formula. Employer medical costs may also be lower. Breastfeeding is better for the environment. Formula cans and bottle supplies create more trash and plastic waste. Breast milk is a renewable resource that comes packaged and warmed. What are the breastfeeding recommendations? So breastfeeding is one of the most effective ways to ensure child health and survival. However, nearly 2 out of 3 infants are not exclusively breastfed for the recommended 6 months, a rate that has not improved in 2 decades. So let's talk a little bit about WABA's warm chain, okay? So now, what is WABA? WABA is the World Alliance for Breastfeeding Action, also known as WABA or WABA, a warm chain of support for breastfeeding. The warm chain places the mother-baby dyad at the core and follows the first 1,000 days timeline. It strives to link different actors by coordinating efforts at all levels to provide a continuum of care. So they follow, right? You follow from birth to a certain amount of age. Each actor or link in the warm chain may already be part of an existing initiative, such as the Baby Friendly Hospital Initiative or a community health program. With consistent messages and proper referral systems throughout the warm chain, the mother-baby dyad will benefit from ongoing support and breastfeeding counseling. All mothers are then empowered with the more satisfying and effective breastfeeding experience. A warm chain of support will help build an enabling environment for breastfeeding and protect against industry influence. And you can also find a lot more information if you go to waba.org. So what are our objectives? Our objectives are to protect the warm chain by developing strategies for collaboration and conflict of interest safeguards, to promote the warm chain approach and showcase good examples of linkages, to support the warm chain by coordinating training, technical support, and research to enhance knowledge and skills. There are many actors along the warm chain, such as academics, advocates, community health workers, employers, family members, general practitioners, lactation consultants, midwives, nurses, nutritionists, dietitians, pediatricians, peer supporters, policymakers. So that's a little bit about the warm chain. And we'll continue. So let's talk about what your role can be. Actually, I want to go back to another slide, the last one. So pursuant to WABA, some of the specific actions the lactation consultants, as somebody like me, and doctors like you guys can take along the warm chain to support breastfeeding are: always ask about breastfeeding during a consultation. Inform mothers and other family members about the importance of breastfeeding for short and long-term goals. Support mothers to establish an adequate breast milk supply, inducing in vulnerable or emergency situations. Empower mothers with strategies to enable them to combine breastfeeding and work. Work together with others to ensure a continuum of care with the breastfeeding dyad. Do not accept any gifts, samples, sponsorships, or displays of infant formula, bottles or teats from companies. So now, what can you do as medical students? Roles in protecting breastfeeding. Medical school builds the foundation for all doctors, clinical practice, and is a perfect opportunity to educate future clinicians with the essential skills and knowledge to support their patient. The very highly influential organization in breastfeeding is the Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine, also known as the ABM. The ABM, as it is also known, issues position statements, holds international conferences, and I encourage you to explore their website. It's the abm.org. influencing particularly the following statement: educational objectives and skills for the physician with respect to breastfeeding. The statement emphasizes that the implementation of high quality breastfeeding education throughout the continuum of medical education is critical to ensuring that practicing physicians maintain their skills and that physicians in training develop the knowledge, skills, and attitudes to ensure that virtually every child realizes the right to be breastfed. The statement further emphasizes that the medical community plays a critical role in promoting, protecting, and supporting breastfeeding for optimal health outcomes for all children and families. So what is the International Board of Lactation Consultant Examiners and why I am here? So IBLC is a 36-year-old nonprofit certification board based in the greater Washington, D.C. area. It administers the International Board Certification Lactation Counselor Consultant Certification Program and professional examination. The program includes eligibility requirements, a professional certification program, recertification requirements, and a code of professional conduct. So I'm not seeing the slides, but the slide says basically it's a picture of all the board of directors. So like most nonprofit or NGOs, IBLC is governed by a board of directors. IBLC's board of directors is very diverse and roughly proportionate to our stakeholder representation. IBLC currently has board members from Brazil, Kenya, the UAE, the UK, and the US. And in the past has had board members from places as diverse as Japan, Slovenia, Australia, and the list goes on. So I want to just speak about the regions of IBLC. IBLC stakeholders, including currently there are over 33K IBLCs are in 3 regions, and it's the Americas and the Israel, which is the blue area, Asia Pacific and Africa in purple, and as well as Europe, the Middle East, and the North Africa in yellow. So as an IBCLC, what is IBLC's current vision and mission? Thank you. Our vision is that IBLC is valued worldwide as the most trusted source for certifying practitioners in lactation and breastfeeding care. And our mission is IBLC establish the highest standard in lactation and breastfeeding care worldwide and certifies individuals who meet these standards. We are also completing a strategic planning process and will be unveiling an exciting new strategic plan soon. So the IBCLC certification, I like to go into it a little bit. So let's dive into a little bit more, and I'll talk about, what the certification means and how, if you are really passionate about breastfeeding, how you can obtain it. So there are 4 primary eligibility requirements. It's, as a physician, you would definitely meet the health science education requirement. Effective in 2022, there is an increasing emphasis on communication skills, which is so critical to successful lactation consulting. So as you can see, it's health science education, lactation specific clinical experience, the lactation specific education, adherence to the code of professional conduct. So the lactation specific education requirement, it is the 95 hours minimum of education in human lactation and breastfeeding. So it is the comprehensive education in human lactation and breastfeeding, which is a vital part of preparing to become an IBCLC, if you're seeking any candidacy, their candidates are encouraged to secure education, which covers all the disciplines and chronological periods listed on the IBCLC detailed content outline. So if you have any questions about how to become an IBCLC, you can go to iblce.org, and there's all the pathways are listed over there. IBCLC does not offer, approve, or accredit lactation education designed to prepare candidates for the certification examination, nor does IBCLC recommend or endorse any particular program or course in lactation education. So the education may be offered in the classroom or through distance learning, such as online courses and independent study modules. Please note that self-study is important, but is not able to be counted towards the meeting, the required lactation-specific education. So the lactation-specific education, there's Pathway 1, Pathway 2, and Pathway 3. For the lactation-specific clinical experience requirement, 1,000 clinical practice hours are required for healthcare providers. So they follow Pathway 1. So I can go into so if you're a recognized breastfeeding support counselor organization, and Pathway 2 is like 300 clinical hours. So if you have attended any accredited lactation academic programs, that would count towards that. And Pathway 3 is 500 clinical practice hours. So if you know an IBCLC and if you're getting mentored by them, that would count. Those hours, those 500 hours would count towards Pathway 3. So to summarize, IBCLCs have demonstrated that you have to demonstrate health science education, lactation-specific education, a clinical experience. You have to pass the exam, and then you are asked to continue your competence to recertification, which is every 5 years. And also, it's very important once you become an IBCLC to adhere to the Code of Professional Conduct for IBCLC, and that is very important. Each certification period is for 5 years, and recertification can be accomplished either through re-examination or continuing education. So there is a slide here. If you go to iblce.org, there is a lot of information, and there is you can learn more about the process and the candidate information guide and the IBCLC certification section of the IBCLC website. A little bit about the IBCLC exam. So one of the key aspects of any board certification is the examination. So let's examine that a bit more for a moment. So the exam, it's offered typically twice a year in April and September. It's delivered in 17 languages for the September examination. And it's in April, it's only given in English. So the IBCLC exam, what is the examination like? There's a lot of question about that. It's a very long exam, 4 hours. 175 multiple choice questions, with approximately half of questions are image-based. So it's different positions. If the baby, you have to see if there is a tongue tie, or if there is, if the baby is latches good, or is it appropriate? Is there any milk transfer going? So there's a lot of thought process, and that's why the lactation education is very important. The results do take some time, in that scoring must take place in each examination language. So, once the exam is given, people are very anxious to get their results. However, it does take a little bit long. So you have to be a little patient. The IBCLC continues to grow. The number of IBCLCs worldwide has grown by 30% in the last decade. And the last examination, we had a very high passing rate as well. So we have 33,400 IBCLCs in 125 countries, and the exam is given in 17 examination language. So IBCLC recertification. So if any of you in this group have their IBCLCs, and if you wanted to certify, we'll talk about the certification process. It's you can certify every 5 years, and it's by examination required, which is actually changing in 2022, but it's required through 2021. And then going forward in 2022, there's going to be a self-assessment and focused continuing education. Recertification by SERPs, which is a lot of SERPs, 50 LSERPs, but it seems very small if you do it a little bit at a time every year. So it doesn't add up. So my advice to you will be, don't wait till the last minute. Make sure you get your practice hours in between. So new requirements for those recertifying in 2021 and beyond. There's a requirement of 250 hours of lactation consulting practice, which means, either you're teaching virtually or you're actually getting some sort of help in practice. And also basic life support education, which is your neonatal resuscitation or basic life support, like your heart certification. So that's something that was added this new. So new requirements for those certifying in 2021 and beyond. So this can be a volunteer, a professional, or advocacy, or somebody working for advocacy or writing practice. So there are a lot of options coming. So everyone must meet this requirement, whether recertifying by examination or by SERPs. And we are very flexible in earning these hours. You have 5 years, you have a lot of support, even if, because of the pandemic, we've made some eligibility requirements. We understand everybody is going through a very tough time all across the world. Okay. Basic life support, I just want to go into it. It's cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So sometimes if you have not heard about this, it can be difficult. So it's really cardiopulmonary resuscitation. It's something I'm sure all medical students have to be competized in. Neonatal resuscitation program. So if you work with babies, this is something that you're required to have. So also you can learn more about the certification process in this recertification guide in the IBCLC recertification section of the IBCLC website. I also want to talk about the monetary investment for lactation consultant certification. So this is very important to us, and it's our affiliated scholarship organizational called the Monetary Investment for Lactation Consultant Certification, or MILC in short form. This provides invaluable support for examination fees and in some cases other funding. So if somebody is having a difficult time taking an exam and they cannot cover their costs, this is a great way to approach the exam. So it provides financial assistance to candidates and recertifying IBCLCs. So in the last decade, MILC has awarded scholarships to 695 individuals, and that's a big number, in 57 countries and territories, valued at approximately $250,000 USD, which is the United States dollars. And there are general scholarships and 2 other scholarships I will discuss today. So the first scholarship program is the Joanne W. Scott Scholarship. It's also known as JWS. It was created in 2006 to honor IBCLC's founding executive director, who was the Joanne W. Scott. Funds are fund applicants from mother-to-mother support background. The other scholarship is the Emerging Leaders in Lactation. So somebody who's wanting to go into leadership, created in 2017 in the spirit of fostering diversity, equity, and inclusion among the community of IBCLC candidates and future leaders. So this covers not just the expense of the examination, but other expenses as well. Emerging leaders have begun to earn their IBCLC, including individuals in Mexico, the US, and Indonesia. So please, if you want to donate to milk and you have friends who are looking to become IBCLCs, learn more about the Milk Org at www.milcc.org. You can always donate, and it's also on Facebook. So some of the useful links that I actually talked about today are all on here. So if you want to take a picture of it, you can, or write it down quickly. That's fine too. So, I gave a lot of information about WABA, WHO, UNICEF, all the information's on these links. Okay. All right, so I would like to give a little bit of time. We still have like 15 minutes left. So just a bit more of time and space for questions and answers. And also please, please, please go to iblc.org if you have any other questions about testing, or also about any affiliated scholarship for any milk things. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Any questions? Are you all, is everybody a medical student?
Thank you very much, ma'am. That was very beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for the impact.
Yes.
I hope the information was useful.
Major.
It was indeed useful and a very, very impactful section as well.
Very good.
Okay, so I have a question. It's Adessa speaking.
Yes.
So a while ago, thank you. So a while ago, I was going through the IBCLE website, and I saw something about membership options for students.
Mm-hmm.
Could you clarify about that, please?
So IBLC it's not, we don't have any membership. It's about, there is a thing called USLCA. I'll write it here. So you can become a member of USLCA. Sorry, hold on 1 second. I shared it with you directly. So IBLC has no membership. It's a certification membership.
Or was it the IBCLC? I'm think there's one that has a student membership that says it's like $2 or something.
Okay, IBLC doesn't have, I'm pretty sure IBLC doesn't have a certificate. You're looking for membership. ILCA has membership, so the International Lactation Consultant Association. Let's just see. I can just share with you guys. If you wanted to become members, you can become members through ILCA, which is International Consultant. And then the other one is USLCA. Any other questions? Yes, as far as I know, IBLC does not have a membership. But I could be wrong. I can clarify with our CEO, and then I can get back to you. But I'm pretty sure. Any other questions? And USLCA and International Lactation Consultant Associations are really good venues for you to learn more about any other lactation topics. So they're recorded webinars, and they have LSERPs. So if somebody is looking to become an IBCLC, you can get your hours through that as well. I hope I was not too fast. I hope I was, and I hope I was clear. Any other questions? Okay. Okay, so if you
Yes,
don't have, go ahead.
yes, thank you very much for the insightful presentation. I'm Richard Upoka from Uganda. I'm a fourth-year medicine student. So from your presentation, you made a point that said that 2/3 of infants are not exclusively breastfed. So I don't know what could you maybe have researched and found out why almost 2/3 of the infants are not exclusively breastfed. Then also another question I do have is that now concerning like maybe in most of the low resource settings where we don't have maybe adequate clinicians, when should we begin to really teach our clients, maybe the pregnant mothers, on how to breastfeed their children exclusively for the first 6 months, and we have this time so that by the time they give birth, because we know most of the time they spend very little time postpartum in the hospital.
Exactly. That's actually a great point. So we should always encourage the mothers to start, talk about breastfeeding prenatally. So, they go to their prenatal appointments, they have 9 months. So start talking about it, before they have the baby, how important it is, because the mom has colostrum when the mom is 20 weeks pregnant. So, so talk about, a lot of moms get discouraged when they are postpartum and they don't see the milk, right? So everybody has this option or thinking that, oh, my milk is going to come in right away. And I always tell my patients, your milk only comes in the second or the third day. And I always tell them that breastfeeding is supply and demand. So you have to put the baby on for your body to understand, hey, my baby is here. And I'm gonna, and my baby needs the breast milk. It's very important to tell parents that, or moms, that you're gonna have colostrum in the beginning, and that colostrum becomes milk in 2 to 3 days. So that's very important. And I feel like a lot of mothers, whether it's through, generational education, everybody wants to like think that the baby has to eat a lot in the first 24 hours. So that's very important, and very, very, very important. The key is that we teach our moms prenatally. As you said, postpartum, yes, they're not in the hospital for very, very long time. And also there's not a lot of time to educate these moms in the postpartum periods, because they're overloaded with so much information in the postpartum period. So the more education they have before they come to the hospital, the better off they are. I hope I answered your question.
Hi, hello.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Yes,
I have a question.
yes.
So on concerning HIV mothers, they're not supposed to breastfeed their kids, their children. And in some cases, some studies shows that in some developing countries that it's better to breastfeed the kids for 4 to 6 months because of the associated infections and diseases that occurs with not breastfeeding. So I want to ask, why 4 to 6 months? Is it that there is no form of transmission of the HIV to the babies in that 4 to 6 months?
So it's because of, if they have been on the antiretrovirals for a very long time, I think they say that it's safe to breastfeed. So it says that if you do not have access to formula and clean boiled water all the time, you may be advised to breastfeed while both you and your baby are taking antiretroviral treatment. So it's, if you do breastfeed, you must always take your treatment and exclusively breastfeed for at least 6 months.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Somebody asked a question about scholarship. Yes, the scholarships are available to anyone who's interested. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello, Baraka. How are you?
Okay, my name is Maraka from Imbara University, Uganda. I would like to supplement on the previous question that why breastfeed for 6 months? I've read some literature that in these 6 months, we expect the mother to breastfeed exclusively without giving supplementary feeds. But if you introduce other feeds, it increases the risk of transmission. But the 6 month is expected exclusive breastfeeding, and there is reduced transmission if it is exclusive breastfeeding.
Yes, if they're on antiretrovirals, yes. So, and I think the reason why they choose 4 to 6 months is because after 6 months, you can start introducing solid foods, right? So I think that's probably why what the thought process is. Okay, I see that there's a storm, so I thank you for all your time. Well, thank you for all your invite. Yes, go ahead. Do you have a question?
Hello, Ma. I have a question.
Hello.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, please. If anybody asked a question, I did not hear.
Okay, am I audible? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. So, Madam, I'm looking at the stats for the number of countries that have adopted the International Code of Breastfeeding and Marketing. And I don't know if to say we still have a long way to go.
Mhm.
I don't know, what are the reasons why for the limitation in this adoption all around the world, globally?
It's capitalization. It's you know, it's a business, and that's why. And you know, people want money, and it's really, you know, it's yes, some people know it's the right thing to do. However, you know, when formula is the easy way to go, right? It's accessible, and it's there, so that's why. So that's why it's really important to educate mothers before they have the baby. You know, the first time they walk into your clinic and they're saying, hey, I'm pregnant. And, you know, we shouldn't pose the question, hey, are you breastfeeding or formula feeding? We should educate them why breastfeeding is important for their child. That's the way we should educate. And I'm not saying that formula is like, you know, I'm not anti-formula at all, but you know, it's saying that here's what's best for your baby. And if it doesn't work out, if you have an issue, then you should go, you know, go the other route. But please try this first. You know, this should be your first option. Okay.
Perfect.
Any
Thank you
Hello.
very much, man. It's been a wonderful session. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
we can hear you.
I'm Adson Twinso from Uganda. Thank you very much for the presentation. But I have a concern. In our culture, the breast is regarded as a private party. So how can we advise mothers, especially those at workplaces, which are dominated by men, to like safely breastfeed their children without interference?
Okay, I want to make sure I
Thank you.
understand the question. So how can we safely breastfeed? Oh, it's like, you mean like it's a private part, so they don't want to be showcased? Are you saying it that way? I'm sorry, I just want to understand it properly.
I was saying that in our culture, the breast is regarded as a private part. So some women feel shy, like to pull out the breast and breastfeed the child, yeah,
And
especially when they are in public, like at workplace.
so I think,
So how can we encourage them to breastfeed their
yeah, so I think, yes, you can breastfeed in public, but there are so many, like, you can always give them the option of having a cover over, right? So it's not like there, you can always cover your body while you're breastfeeding. It doesn't have to be out in the open, you can do it modestly. So I think we need, where that culture needs to, we need to empower women, and we need to have these supplies, either whether that's a cover up, or or maybe give them like a private, wherever they are. Let's just say they're outside, but have like breastfeeding friendly rooms where they could actually go and breastfeed their babies, even if they're outside. Like, for example, an airport, right? Airport, if you have noticed, they're breastfeeding and pumping rooms. So the mothers who are traveling with their breastfeeding children can actually have that opportunity to breastfeed. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I think I have 2 more minutes.
Hello, ma. You can hear me.
Well, thank you all for having me. Have a good evening. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. We really enjoyed the presentation. Thank you very much.
Take care, guys. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the invitation. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Ma, for honoring our invitation.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. So on behalf of everybody
Okay, everyone, you can see.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
and those who are streaming live from YouTube, really want to say thank you very much for being here. It's been a very insightful session. And we just can't say thank you enough, sincerely,
Thank you
because
very much.
Thank
has
you,
been
and
the high.
for finding me. I don't know how you found me, but you did. Thank you.
Thank you
very much for the meeting. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And do have a lovely evening.
Okay, everyone, before you go, there's a form that has been posted in the chat room. Please do as a diligent to click on the form and fill in the details, so we can find a way to give you your the chat room. Please go in there, click on there's a link there. Go in there, click on the link, so that you can fill in the form and your certificate of participation can be sent across to you. So thank you for availing us this, for giving us your time for coming to this webinar. We know that you have learned a lot. Thank you. We from FAMSA SCOPA appreciate your presence, your attendance to this webinar. Thank you. Please go to the chat room, click on the link and fill in your details so that we can send across to you your Please don't leave without clicking on the link. Please click on the link, fill in your details so we can send your certificate of participation across to you. I've posted the link. If you haven't seen the link, this is the link, the last message here. Please click on it. Click on the link so that your certificate of participation will be sent across to you. Thank you very much for attending this webinar. We are so grateful for your presence. Please don't leave without clicking on the link. I will say it once more before you leave. Click on the link, fill in your details so that we can send your certificate of participation across to you.
Hello, everyone. Just to be clear, please, before you leave, kindly fill the form. It's what we're going to use to send out your certificates, please. And to be sure you really attended and you stayed till the end, please. And I really want to say thank you. This is me, Ades Ozago. It's in the chat box, please. This is me, Ades Ozago, SCOPA chair, and I really want to say thank you, a huge thank you to everyone who attended. It blows our mind that sorry, let me send this link again. It blows our mind the way that, you know, we really
You can put your video on so that we see you.
Sorry, it's like I said, there's a storm over here, and so the power is out.
Oh,
and
no.
on already. Okay. Okay. So who wants to say hello?
Okay.
That's more like it. Hi.
So not to burn everybody's data, I will be putting my video off. So thank
Hello.
you very much for.
I want to ask a question.
Sure.
Those that joined via YouTube, how will they get their link?
So the link is being sent to YouTube. So those who are there would be able to join. Will be able to fill it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
The meeting is actually over. So if you fill the link, I think you can go. So we don't burn your airtime, your data. Sorry. You filled. Feel free to leave. We're just trying to hang on so that others can fill up. That's all.
I am.
Arenze, for moderating today. Really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Sorry everyone. If you're on the YouTube page and you're still there, I found that people can't click the link. That means they can't use it. If you can, please come over to Zoom. If you can, there's enough space now. Sorry about the space thing. We didn't really know we would have this much population. So if you would be kind enough to come over here, the link is here so you could feel it. Apparently, people can't click on it from YouTube, and I really, really apologize about that. I'm very sorry.
Thank you guys for your attendance. Very nice. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for everything. It was my first time, but really it was amazing. I've learned many things from
The link is both here in on Zoom, and is also there on YouTube. So wherever you are, please click on the link to get your certificates, please. Don't forget to fill in the forms, please. It's the only way to really guarantee that you were part of the session and you stay till the end. If you feel you can go, the meeting has ended, so you don't finish your data. Oh, and thank you. I heard somebody make a comment. Thank you. I'm really glad you learned a lot from it. Okay, so has everyone filled in the link? Should we end the meeting? Oh, thank you very much, Arusisa. Thank you. Thank you very much.
yet. You have not finished.
Okay. If you've clicked on the link and you're done, you can,
What did you run from there? That breastfeeding is the key. The key. I'm hearing it. That's why I need to submit before they shut down. Okay, you guys, are you still there? It was a wonderful talk today. I really enjoyed it. Yes, I'm fine. I'm fine, Janet.
Thank you, Andrew, for the comments. We are happy that you gained a lot from it. Thank you.
Okay, but just to say this, World Breastfeeding Awareness Week hasn't ended from SCOPA. We have other activities lined up from 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and we're going to end on the 7th. So please join us as we continue the journey, towards towards improving healthcare in Africa. Truth is, we are not doing this for publicity or anything. We really want to make sure that in the long run, people have the right tools they need to make the right decisions and be the change they want to see in the world. So I think that's all from me. If every other person is done, don't know, could say, then we can leave. It's not like I'm eager to leave, but I just don't want to keep people hostage.